Quick correction, because this one matters. Capitalism is not a political system, and democracy is not an economic one. We keep arguing about them like they're the same thing. They're not. So let's break this down simply. Democracy is a political system. It answers the question, who has power? Citizens vote, leaders are elected from the people, authority flows from the people. Capitalism, on the other hand, is an economic system. It answers the question, how are goods and services produced and distributed? Private ownership, markets, profit incentives. One is about governance, one is about markets, different categories. So yeah, you can have capitalism without democracy. For example, China has strong market activity and private enterprise, but it is not a liberal democracy. Markets exist, competitive elections do not. On the flip side, you can have democracies with strong socialist elements. Countries like Sweden or Norway are democratic and capitalists, but they have robust public health care, tuition-free education, and strong safety nets. That doesn't make them dictatorships. It makes them mixed economies. And yes, even countries that call themselves communist often operate with heavy market capitalism in practice. Labels don't always match structure, which is why precision matters. Now here's where people get tripped up. Socialism can describe either an economic model where key industries are publicly or collectively owned. For example, here in Ontario, electricity transmission used to be fully public. Hydro One was publicly owned for decades before partial privatization. Or Petro-Canada, which began as a crown corporation before being privatized in the 1990s. Those are examples of public ownership inside a broader capitalist economy. Or socialism can describe a political ideology, meaning people who advocate through democratic means for more collective ownership or stronger public systems. The difference? One describes how an economy is structured, the other describes a political movement arguing for that structure. Structure versus advocacy. Systems versus ideology. So here's the part where we need to be honest. Saying, I support socialism is not the same thing as saying, I want to abolish democracy. That fear that supporting a strong social safety net makes you undemocratic is based on conflating economic policy with political structure. To be clear, you can advocate for universal health care, public education, and regulated markets within a democratic system. Likewise, criticizing unregulated capitalism is not the same thing as opposing freedom. Markets are tools. Democracy is governance. And confusing the two shuts down real conversation. In part one, we unpacked socialism. In part two, we talked about collective investment. In part three, we talked about meritocracy and the starting line. This is part four, clarity. Because if we don't define our systems correctly, we argue past each other. And that doesn't protect democracy, it just protects confusion. Capitalism is an economic system. Democracy is a political one. And supporting public guardrails doesn't make you anti-freedom. It just means you're debating policy, not pledging allegiance to a brand. Peace out, and if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.